The Shin Megami Tensei Demeter's design has gotta be one of the most discussed design, if not the most. I mean, pretty much in all classical art, Demeter was depicted as a grown woman, a mother goddess, so why did Atlus draw her as a little girl? Though, I gotta admit, I do think it's kinda cute. Well, maybe not like that, but like...
a pet to me.
A pet?
This is the only way, Mark.
Don't touch me.
Calm down.
I will not calm down. This is insane.
Anyway, to fully appreciate the answer, as always, let's begin with the story. Demeter was a Greek goddess of agriculture and grain. That part of the design is clear in the way she is depicted, dressed in green and holding an ears of rice in one hand and the cornucopias in the others. In the myth, Demeter found the Eleusinian mysteries, one of the most famous cults of the ancient world. This cult name and her association with agriculture are then used for her signature skill in the game called Eleusinian Harvest, which gives full HP recovery to all allies and heal them above their max HP. Anyway, Demeter was one of the first Olympians, a sister to Zeus, and with him, she has a daughter named Persephone. Now, what Demeter didn't know was that Zeus has already promised Persephone to his brother Hades, the god of the underworld, without telling her a thing. So one day, when Persephone was out picking flowers, the ground just opened up underneath her, and Hades just popped up and yoinked her, pulling her down with him. Interestingly, Demeter wasn't always a little girl in the SMT franchise. The little girl's design entered the series along with the Strange Journey Redux in 2018 and continued as Atlus also used it in Shin Megami Tensei 5. The character artist Masayuki Doi explained that while the Mother Goddess is the version everyone pictures, he went against it on purpose. He wanted you looking at her without knowing which side she was on, enemies or allies, precisely because she seemed so innocent. He described it as a Koakuma, a little devil look meant to keep you guessing about what she's really after. And that hidden agenda does lie up with her myth and her in-game personality almost perfectly, because once you're actually playing, this is what Demeter spent her times doing. In Strange Journey Redux, he saved the protagonist's life and sent him to gather fruits for her. Really pieces of a stolen divine power she's collecting for the Law faction she secretly serves. So behind the innocent child look, she's a ruthless agent of law, willing to sacrifice anyone for the cause, even her brother Zeus. And she does it again in SMT 5, just with a different excuse. There, she tricks the protagonist into killing powerful demons, supposedly to clean up the world. However, later when she realized that the protagonist has more potential than Zeus himself, she flipped on him pretty much almost immediately and happily joined your parties. Funnily enough, across many of these games, Zeus is the victim of her trickeries. I'm not sure if this is on purpose, but it's a nice little callback to the myth because Zeus was the one who gave her daughters away. That said, the conflict between Demeter and Zeus seems to be a common theme across multiple stories. In one of them, Demeter has this mortal lover named Aetion, and after Zeus found out about this affair, he killed the guy with a thunderbolt. So that's the reason Doi gave us. And yeah, it's a good one, but there's a second layer to that child design, one he's never mentioned, and it's hiding in the later half of Demeter's own myth. Honestly, it's my favorite part of this whole story. To get to it though, we need to get back to where we left Persephone. After Persephone was taken, Demeter went looking for hers. For 9 days, she wanders without food or drink, not even stopping to take a bath. And eventually, when she finally learned the truth that Hades has taken her daughters and that Zeus has signed off on it, her grief turned into fury. She came down to walk the earth herself, and everywhere she went, the crops failed and the field died. She became the embodiment of famines that spread across the whole world. Now, speaking of famines, remember that golden ear of rice and the cornucopia she's holding, the one that stands for abundance? If you look a little bit closer at the cornucopia, you'll notice a bunch of strange faces on it. According to Doi, those are supposed to represent famine, because whether the world grows plentiful or starve is entirely down to Demeter. Back to the story. After Zeus saw the chaos Demeter was causing, he tried sending other gods to her one by one to calm her down. But also one by one she turned them away. She wasn't going to lift the ferments until she had her daughters back. Eventually Zeus gave in and they sent Hermes to bring Persephone home. But Hades has thought ahead. Before she could leave, he gave her part of pomegranates to eat, and that tied her to the underworld for good. And yeah, don't ask me how this worked. It's something underworld food, something now you're stuck in the underworld. So a compromise has to be made, and it came down to a split. Part of every year, Persephone spent below with Hades, and the rest above with her mother. This is pretty cool because many use this part of the myth as an explanation for the season. The light of the earth going underground and hiding through winters, then rising again in spring when the daughters returns. That said, remember that Elysian cult I told you about earlier? Well, turns out instead of just worshipping Demeters, they actually worship Persephone as well. Which might sound a bit odd because she's the queen of underworld and all. But as the story we just told shows, she's every bit a goddess of grain and spring as well. Which loop us right back to that little girl design again. Persephone was always the young one, the daughters, and it's probably not deliberated, but at least for me, drawing Demeters as a child does in some small way fold that youth back into the mothers, a small tribute to the way they were worshipped.